what can be said about Castlevania 3 that has not already been said? Well, actually, a whole lot, because it turns out no one has ever fucking played this game. I have been wanting to do something significant with this for so goddamn long. Seriously, Castlevania 3 is one of the all-time forgotten greats. I fucking love this game. And for the longest time, I've wanted to get this all off my chest, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to ramble on like I have some idea of what I'm saying and hope someone finds it relatively interesting. So let's go, let's get into it. Now, look, I want to start this all off by saying I'm actually relatively new to this game. I have no nostalgia blowing sweet smells in my face of what otherwise could be a heaping pile of shit. I actually first played the game about 3 years ago because I bought an NES and Castlevania 3 was cheaper to buy than Castlevania 1, which I now too have finished. Now, years down the line, having ample time to ponder and consider the benefits of both games, I want to share my thoughts as to why I actually think 3 has the edge over Castlevania 1. Also, please note, when I compare the two, I'm in no way saying that Castlevania 1 is a bad game. Fuck off, you son of a bitch. Castlevania 1 is fantastic, and it actually is one of the few games on the NES that still holds up to date. Bite me. Seriously, Phoenix Sonata was fucking awful. Alright, so I want you to cast your mind back. I finally get the game in the mail. I plow through the game over the next few weeks, and I am blown away. I rush online to see other people's thoughts and immediately am told of how much of a fuckwit I am for loving this game over, say, Castlevania 4. But why? Has no one played it? Why? Who knows? Look, my best guess is that Castlevania 2 was so much of a fucking train wreck that people let Castlevania 3 get forgotten with the sands of time until, of course, they could spin their fucking dick around in Castlevania 4. So let me paint a picture of what I see the fandom being right now. There are 3 houses in a cul-de-sac. The first house is Castlevania 1, full of beautiful models who are all just fucking each other in the grass. The second house is full of all the Castlevania 2 fans who are all like junkie crack addicts sucking every last rock on a lawn chair in their front yard. And the last house, Castlevania 3, which is me, and like one other cunt who's probably got like a skin condition or something. And I feel like every time I try to yell over to the beautiful people at Castlevania's one house, none of them can see or hear me over the sound of the burning crack rocks and the squatters at Castlevania 2's fucking shack. Please, I'm right here. The game's good. Please. Oh, and occasionally the high school bully living around the corner at Castlevania 4's house comes over and asks if he can borrow some sugar. I tell him no.
Disclaimer. The following statement may give you cancer.
Castlevania 3 fucking shit gave me cancer. Castlevania 3's gameplay is 2D action perfected. I mean that, like I really mean that. It is fucking tactical. It is fucking hard as balls. It requires strategy, patience. It requires you to be a stubborn asshole. It is the Dark Souls before Dark Souls. All the way down to the gothic setting. Go fuck yourself, Sultan Sanctuary. There's a new big boy in town! Seriously though, Castlevania 1 pioneered the Castlevania formula. Castlevania 2 stuck a big old thorn in its dickhole, but 3 refined everything to such a beautiful shimmer you could see yourself crying in the reflection of the cover. Most likely at the difficulty of the game, because fuck, this shit is so hard, bro. Seriously, everything that's great in Castlevania 1 has just been added onto in Castlevania 3 in a way that innovates, but also doesn't betray the systems that have been etched into stone. Once again, Castlevania 4 is guilty as fuck of this. Fuck you, Castlevania 4, you fucking piece of... Now, I think it's really difficult to portray how a game feels to play, especially one as old as this, but I'll do my best to try and break down some of the more basic elements to those who maybe haven't had any experience with a Castlevania game before. Now, the whipping mechanics were so good in Castlevania 1 that they remained largely unaltered throughout the rest of the 2D Castlevania games. Like, other weapons were introduced in later games, however, no one can deny how fucking great it feels to whip the shit out of stuff. Now, look, if I sat someone down to play a Castlevania game for the first time and they complained about the jumping being too stiff, I would understand and disagree. I mean, I love how committed you are to your fucking jump. It is so stressful, and it makes you plan every single jump. It is absolutely nerve-wracking, but, you know, if you don't like it, that's fine. Fuck you.
Your greatest hazard in this game is not pits, not water or spikes or anything like that. It's the stairs.
Okay, the stairs. Now, look, the stairs are as shitty as ever, and it does sort of highlight the limitation of the NES controller. Having to press up to climb stairs and throw a sub-weapon can get you fucked. And not on the, not in the kind of lucky night on the town kind of fucked. We're talking about the kind of fucked where you go for a prostate exam and you can see both the doctor's hands when you feel the pinch. Real fucked. Really fucked. But hey, the sub-weapons found a renewed vigor in 3, which I feel was like lacking in 1 and really lacking in 4. The open-ended nature of the game allowed for far more options in terms of what you wanted to carry, which adds a whole new level of strategy for experienced players and, how they want to pard their way through the game and which sub-weapon they want to carry with them. I mean, even if it is just hoarding the holy water the whole game, shit's deep. Now, the branching paths are fucking awesome. I feel like every time I sit down to play this game, I find something new just by picking a different path. Legit. I didn't even know there was a freaking snake lady boss until editing this video. I'm not kidding, and that's fucking awesome. Each branching path leads you to new levels, new bosses, and even different alternate characters. And holy fuck, the alternate characters. This still feels like a big deal to me, and it's been years since I first played this. So there are 3 other characters to find and play as. Alucard, if you're a massive pussy like me, and because he gets turned into like a fucking bat, which is awesome. Flying enemies are a real fucking cancer in Castlevania 1, so if you can't beat them, just join them, or at least fly over them to the end of the level. You can find Sypha if you're actually good at the game. Like, she's way harder to control, but her spells are so powerful, you can fucking slam dunk fuck that cunt Dracula at the end of the game if you have her fully powered up. And you can also find Grant if you're disabled. Now, I don't mean that in an offensive way to those with actual disabilities. I just mean that if you pick Grant, he controls so bad that you may as well have a physical disability preventing you from holding your controller. Also, you're retarded if you go and pick Grant, you idiot. But look, everyone is going to have their favourite. Mine just so happens to be Alucard. He's just so fucking cool despite his little piddly attacks. And look, really, I shouldn't be that hard on Grant. He possibly has one of the greatest levels from like a design standpoint. You acquire him by climbing the clock tower early in the game. And look, the clock tower has always been a staple of Castlevania, but in 3, it's always kind of stuck out to me because it's a great level that you have to climb up, defeat a boss, retrieve your new doorstop of a fucking alternate character before climbing down at a controlled rate. It is wicked memorable. And actually, the music in the clock tower is also fantastic. It also stands out as one of those tracks that invokes panic as you're working your way up the cogs of the machine. Actually, the music for the entire game is a little bit lacking, if I'm honest. I mean, there are standouts, but there's no song that gets, like, totally just drilled into your subconscious, like, all day. Essentially, what I'm saying is no song in this game can even touch the Bloody Tears theme from Castlevania II. I mean, shit, listen to this. Alright, now it's time to talk about some bosses. Alright, so I do want to talk about some of the level bosses here and why I think they're honestly some of the best in the NES trilogy. Now, the first boss is an awesome introduction into the rest of the game. It's got a really simple moveset. It looks really cool and it lets you experiment with verticality somewhat, which is kind of a reoccurring theme during the game. And the Grim fucking Reaper in 3 is fucking dope, dude. Seriously, just when you think you have him beat, BAM! Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. The enemy is so great. It is an amalgamation of 2 fantastic bosses from Castlevania 1. Of course, the Grim Reaper, no shit. And, of course, the Medusa head enemy from Castlevania 1. Seriously, this fight is so fucking good. It takes forever to beat the first time, but it's just so fucking fun you don't care. Also, Frankenstein's monster returns from Castlevania 1 as well, albeit with an even better moveset. You have just enough time to dodge the bricks that are being thrown at you and falling from the ceiling, and he's vulnerable from anywhere, which means when you do see an opening, you can just fucking wail on the cunt. The bat. Now, look, the bat is still great, and it's even upgraded from 1 as well. The bat now splits several times after being hit, which is a nice touch. It also acts as a great opportunity to learn your sub-weapons. Like, just using your whip can prove a bit of a challenge on your first time, but, like, using an axe can make it so much easier, and using the fucking holy water can just absolutely melt the cunt. Like, it's a fight so nice, they do it twice. Also, I love the fact that it does repeat, because later it returns as a mid-level boss, and if you really struggled early in the game, seeing that furry fucker again in the late game, only to totally crush him, is only what can be described as savage, and it makes you feel really fucking good at how good you are becoming at the game. And also there's a boss rush level later on in the game, which can officially...
Suck me off the next station, please!
Also, the level design from a visual standpoint in this game is so fucking beautiful, even today. I mean, like, just take a moment to look at some of these backgrounds. They are just beautiful. Alright, and also just taking a moment to talk about the actual design of the level structure. The fact that when you get to Dracula's castle, you have to climb to the top from beneath the fucking prison. You work your way up from the bottom of the fucking castle, and you transition from dingy dungeon down the bottom to beautiful upper castle up the top, which is just so fucking great. Or, what makes this even fucking cooler is the fact that if you go to the route to go and grab Sifa, you just walk straight through the front door and you totally ignore the lower dungeon. How fucking cool is that? Okay, so, time to start wrapping stuff up. Now look, as a whole, it is sad to me to think that the Castlevania III achievements have kind of been lost to time as people rejoice about Castlevania IV, which to me just sins in so many areas. The level design, which is awesome but doesn't make sense. Like, how are the walls spinning? Like, how is this tunnel spinning? I mean, these levels are cool, but I mean, what? Castlevania 3 had awesome level design that felt like you were actually going on a journey. They didn't have a fucking spinny room for shits and gigs. You know, you're open in a town, you progress to a swamp, a dungeon. Even that level with the falling bricks is like reminiscent of climbing a cliff face to get to the lower castle. It was so fucking well thought out, and seeing the map actually helps that. Your dot actually moves across the lake when you go and take the ship level. You commandeer a fucking pirate ship and you ride that shit to Dracula's front fucking door. Castlevania 4 had a room that spun. Alright, that's it. I have to cap this off. Castlevania 3 is a fucking great game, and it does not get a quarter of the respect and love that it actually deserves. Play it. Somehow. I don't care. Emulate it. Go on the Nintendo eShop and buy it. Find out where I live. Break into my house. Play it on my NES. I don't fucking care. As long as you're not that weird cunt from earlier with a skin condition.